Hey, yo, what's up? It's Joe back with a new CSS video. So this video is going to talk about CSS and a little bit more CSS and then a little bit more CSS. But basically, you're just trying to build this cool, extremely cool transaction right here. Like, you see that? You see that? You see that? You see that? Bam, bam, bam. All right. I'm excited. If you probably can't tell. I think this is just really, really cool, right? It just does all this really cool stuff. So as you see, the transition, the direction changes of the transition depending on where you're clicking. So if you like here and then you go this way, it goes one way, but if you go back, it goes the other way. And as you see, it just looks like the pictures are just coming no matter which one you click on, they're just coming in. All right, so now that we got all that out the way, let's talk about my inspiration. So my inspiration is feedmusic.com. Don't even know what that means. I guess it's about feeding music or something. I don't know. But the site is really cool. I pretty much went to Google. I was like, hey, Google, I need some help. And Google said, what do you want? And I was like, give me a really, really cool site that has some really, really cool animation. And it said, okay, I got you. And then Google just sent me to this site. It didn't really happen exactly like that, but you get my point. And it's a Site of the Day Awards winner. So, I mean, that alone says a lot. Hope I can get that one day. That'd be so cool. But you see the transitions, right? It's pretty cool. Like it just comes in, just drags in, goes back out, comes back in, goes back out, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then, it zooms. See, watch. It's zooming, 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 zooming. It's coming towards you or me or you too, because you're watching the video, right? I think. And yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool, but then the content is not zooming. As you can see, it just stays there. So that's pretty much what I did here. As you can see, you click on it, it zooms in, zoom, zoom, zoom. But the content right here, think of this whole container that's black, gray, dark, not gray, black, transparent, I don't know, box. Think of this as a container for like whatever you want on that specific page. Of course, it's gonna be different. You can have it scroll and stuff, or you can just have it scroll inside. I just literally just put like just the navigation name that you're on, just so I can just have some kind of content there, because I don't want to focus too much on that. And then to make you guys be able to join me in this or on this mission, I have created a React Page Transition tutorial starter. Whew, that was a lot to say. Why did I name it that? I don't know, but I created it, and this is what you guys are going to use to follow along with me to write this code. So you're going to have a lot of stuff already there. When you clone this code, it's going to have like all of the images. It's going to have the navigation set up. You can click on it. None of the animation stuff is going to be there. But like, somebody told me, that was like, Joe, like, yeah, we like your videos and all, but, you don't have to show us every piece of code that you write. Like, just get to the point. So I was like, good point. I need to get to the point. So this is going to make it easier and quicker for me to get to the point, because now you guys have some of the code already there and we can just work on this together, you know, just make it happen. All right. And that's all we need to get started. And hold up. My mom just texted me. She says hi to you guys. Hey y'all. She said, if you're going to be watching these videos, or if they're going to be watching these videos, tell them to go ahead and subscribe to your channel. And then she said also, you guys should hit the notification bell to know when new videos are coming out. Oh, thanks, Mom. Yeah, so do that because she said it, and you know, moms are always right. Okay. And with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started, because I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. And all right, so let's just go ahead and do this, right? So we're going to go ahead and first clone the code from GitHub. That's what I was trying to say. This is a very long name that I just talked about. React Page Transition React Page Transition Tutorial Starter. I'm getting really tongue-tied right now. I think this long name is really messing me up. Like, why would I pick that long name? But besides all that, let's not even worry about it, right? So just click here, copy that, right? We're here, say git clone. We're here. Bam. Watch it work. Watch it work. It's clone. So cd into that folder. Just do yarn so we can actually install all of the dependencies. cheers, because I'm stuttering. I don't know why. So maybe I just needed to drink. I feel better already, actually. All right. So now that we have that, let's just go ahead and start this package, and just so we can see what's going on here. All right. Let's make sure it starts with no errors. Is it starting? Is it not? I don't know. It's taking up a moment. It started. All right, cool. So let's just go and open it up. I know the images are not coming in. There's no loader and all that stuff, but yeah, that's not a part of this video. So we're just going to keep it simple as possible. But I know about that. Thank you. Well, I probably should have actually fixed it for this, but it made this video longer, and then people are going to start complaining saying your videos are too long. I know they're long. I try to make them short, and I do this. I start talking about something completely irrelevant towards the video, and then it becomes longer again. Sorry, guys. But yeah, as you can see here, it's not like the intro, because now nothing is happening. Yeah, nothing is happening. So let me just actually show you some things here so you can kind of see what's going on. So right now, all of these images are just there. Okay. But depending on, like right now, this image is at the top. So it's not moved out of position. It's not opacity. It's not worried about the ZIndex or anything like that. But just so you can see that all of the images are there, let's say I did display none. All right, that's gone. Let's say I did display none on here. Just so you can see I'm not making this stuff up. The images are there. It's just that nothing is really hooked in to work. All right, and this is the last image. So if I do display none, all of the images are gone. All right, so that is all of the images. So now that we have that out the way, let's get to the fun stuff. All right. So first, what we want to do is let's go over what's in the folders. So I have a store here. If you don't know Mobx, you don't have to know it for this, but I use Mobx, and I use Mobx a lot. So this is what I use for this, but you can actually do this without using Mobx. You can just do this just using regular JavaScript, and not even using like any kind of state management. Like you can use hooks if you want. You can do whatever kind of state you want, but I felt like the state for me would be easier doing it with Mobx, and it's just what I'm used to. But basically what I have is, okay, so I have these types. You don't know TypeScript, you don't have to know for this video again, but I'm just going through the stuff that I did in the intro. So if you're looking at the code, you kind of know what's going on. And but you don't really have to know, because we're not going to really touch this code anyway, but I just want to explain what it's doing. So this transition type basically says like the direction of the animation is going to be vertical or horizontal. And then I have it like going forwards or backwards. Basically like, you know, this is like my X and this is my Y. So X, Y, X, Y, depending on where I want to go, it can go off the screen and then come back on the screen and blah, blah, blah. So for each page, I just have this stuff. I'm not using any kind of router or anything. I kind of just did some simple stuff just to get everything working. So I have the name, which is like the name of the page, the background, which is the background image, like the URL of the image. Excuse me. Active, basically saying if the page is active or not. Element, this is going to be used for React when we're trying to create a ref, so we can have reference to that element, so I can actually like create an event listener on that element. And then show element, basically saying, do I want to show the content of that page, right? And then I have my data. I just put in some data here, all this stuff here. So I have home, about, contact, and history. Background of these different images, which I'll go to this folder in a second. We have active, element, and show element true, or show element false. And this is going to be like the starter. So this is why it says active true, show element true. Although if you look here, it doesn't look like it's coming here because, you know, nothing is moving off the screen. There's no ZIndex stuff happening. So this is like my, picture that's at the top, but all that's going to change. All right. So if we go to the images, let's go back to the store. Sorry. So we have the name, background, active, element, show element, basically the same things we just looked at. And then, for the actual, the main part of the store, we have the pages, which is an array of page. So basically, it's just going to be all of this stuff here. It's going to take all that. And then we have a current page index, just so we can know what page we're on. And we have a should reverse animation, which is going to be used later, basically saying if you want to reverse the animation or not. Remember how in the beginning, like when you click on the one, it went one way, you click on the other one, it went a different way. Basically, that's for that, right? We have the transition type, basically saying if you want it to be vertical or horizontal. So you can actually just change this to horizontal or vertical when we're done, and you'll be able to get the transition to go vertical or horizontal. And actually, if you think about it, you can actually end up putting this like on your page and saying, let the user decide how they want the animation to do. Like you do like really cool things, especially when you use React. This transition direction, this is basically some code I wrote just to figure out what I'm going to pass back here, like which one. So it let me know the direction of the animation. And then set page active. Right now, it's just pretty much just goes in and just sets the page to active. It gets the current index and then set that to the current page index, which is the index that you're setting the page to when you click on the link. And then it just says if the page is not active, then go through and set that page to active and set all the other pages to not active. All right. So basically it will only go in there if the page is not already selected. Okay. And then let's go ahead and look at the images. So the images, these are just the different images that I have. Oops. These are the different images that I have, which is shown on the screen. I just have 4. And then this index actually just takes those 4 images. Okay. And then just export them. I just export that array of images, which is how I'm able to use these images 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So I'm just going to do just at least, telling you guys what everything is going on. This is the navigation. This we won't even actually touch. This is already done. There's no need to touch this. So that is just, doing the whole navigation for us. So we don't have to touch that. What we do have to touch is inside of here. So now we're getting to the good stuff. All right. So this is the index. This is basically like the main area, the different pages. So, basically you have your navigation, which is that component, over here. You have the navigation, then you have the pages.map, which is coming from the page manager store. Also we're using, hooks. So we're using the context. I guess I should probably explain that too before I get too far. So the page manager store context is something that we're creating, and we're using this context called create context, and that uses the React app, React hooks to create the context. And what that does is allow me to use this in different components of my app without having to keep passing all of the, all of this state down. You know how like React, like just keep passing everything down with props. So now with the context, I'm able to use that. So if you guys are really confused on this part, put down in the comments that you want me to do a tutorial on this, and I can actually do a tutorial and explain how the whole context and stuff works. Although it's not really needed for this video because it's already done, but I at least want to just explain to you what's going on. So this is the context, basically saying this is the provider, and that provider is going to use that store. So basically saying that any component inside of these tags will have access to this store if I want to give it access once I get there. So that's how that works. Just like a really quick explanation of it without going too deep. So then when you go here, I'm actually, sorry, where am I at here? So I'm actually using that context. Remember I created the context? So you create the context here, page manager store context, and I exported it. So now I'm saying I'm importing the page manager store context, and then I'm using it, and then I'm just pulling out the page manager store, which is the same thing here, page manager store. So now that I have that, when I'm inside of here, I have access to that entire store. So if I go here, now I have access to all of this stuff. Think of this as like if you was using state, or if you was using Redux or anything, however you want to do your state. So now I have access to all of that state. All right. So where am I at here? So I think we've got all of the introduction stuff out the way. So now we can actually get to the actual code and go ahead and get started trying to figure out how we're going to do this stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So now that we have that out the way, let's actually really get started. I feel like I've said it already, but I mean, eventually we will get there. So sorry, guys. I'll have to get some kind of backstory, but we're doing it now. We're here. We got it. All right. So we have this, right? So what we need to do is let's just first start by making this animation come in. All right. So let's just go ahead and create something. Maybe we can call it like animation styles. I don't know. Probably not the best name. Probably not. And that's completely fine. What we're going to do is go ahead and import, I think it's called Keyframes. Import Keyframes from Style Components. Of course, if you're just doing this with regular CSS, you wouldn't have to actually import all of this stuff because it would just already be there for you. So you wouldn't really have to do that. So let's just call it like moving in, maybe moving in, bringing it in, moving in. All right, let me start with my corny jokes. Let me just try to get this started. All right, so moving in equals keyframes. So we're gonna have moving in with keyframes, and if it's coming in, right, to start it off at 0%, so that's starting it. We want it to be at the top. So we're gonna say opacity 1, which might already have opacity 1. Let's just say opacity 1 just to be sure. Opacity 1, and you're gonna say transform. Then you're gonna say translate. Let's just say the X value is gonna be 0 because you want it under 0. And then the Y value, we're gonna say negative 100 view height, so that I have it off the screen to start with. All right, and go ahead and close that. And then let's say like 65%. We'll have it. Actually, let's just do this for now. Let's just see what's going on because I don't want to get too far. Let's just say transform. Just translate it to 0, 0. So basically just saying translate it to the actual main spot. And just say export. Let's just say moving in. I don't know why I call it that. Probably should be a better name, but it's fine. So we're gonna say, because we already have it where, so we already have this going on. Like when that code is already done. So when it gets set, it already is setting it to active. So let's actually look at that active class. All right, so I think it's like this. Am I doing this right? I hope I'm doing this right. So if it's active, we're going to say, let's look at this again. All right, so if it's active, we actually want it to come in and come down and then show. So we need that to maybe be like a second of animation. That may be too long, but we'll just do a second. So let's just say if it's active, and then we're going to say animation. We're going to say moving in. Let's just go ahead and bring that in. We're going to say 1 second, ease in and out. We only want it to happen one time. That's what that one is for. And then we're going to say forwards to basically saying like stop there. Like once you get to that part, stop it. Don't take it back to the position that it was before that. If that made any sense. All right. So let's see if we do anything. Nothing is happening. Of course not, right? So what did I do wrong? So if it's active and it's moving in, ease. Oh yeah. It's probably because of this. Yeah. I know why. All right. So right now, this is the one that has the topmost ZIndex. So that's why that's the one you're always seeing. So you're not seeing these coming in, even though they're actually coming in. It's just hidden by this. So if I was to like do something like this and just say put display none, right? So now if I do this, you'll see that one coming in. See? So it's kind of working. All right. So what we need to do is go ahead and handle this ZIndex. So let's just say ZIndex of whatever is coming in, we're going to set that to 2. All right. And then let's just also do one for inactive. And let's just say ZIndex, let's just set it to 0. All right. Let's see what happens now. All right. So anytime something's coming in, it's getting a higher ZIndex, as you can see. So it's taking the topmost, think of it as layers. So it's the topmost layer. So they're coming in, and it's, you know, setting everything else behind it. So now we're getting somewhere. We're getting that image to come on top. Right. That's what I'm trying to do. So now let's actually do some zooming. So remember that whole zooming effect that was happening when this picture was like zoom, 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 zoom. We want that to happen again. So let's do that. So let's actually go to the actual animation again. And let me just look at this again. So the zooming, we want the zooming to like come towards us. So it needs to zoom in, but I don't know how long, maybe 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. I don't know. So let's call it zooming equals keyframes. Again, if you're using the regular CSS, you wouldn't have to do this whole like, because this is like, you know, JavaScript code. But if you're using regular CSS, you just do your regular keyframes. But I have to do it a different way because I'm using style components, which is a way to do CSS. But you should be able to follow this with the logic, with being able to use all this stuff without even using style components or not even using Mobx or anything like that. The logic still will be the same. All right. So for zooming, we're going to say we're going to start off at, how do I want to do this? So if we're coming in, go back to look at this. So if we're coming in, we want the picture to come towards us. But if it's zooming, all right. So first the picture comes down and it comes into position. So we need the zooming to start after that. Okay. And when it comes in, it's at a regular scale. So it's just at, you know, scale 1. So maybe let's just do like transform scale 1. I'm not even sure if I need to put this since it's already coming in as that. But let's just do it anyway. And then just say we're going to go to scale like 1.5, maybe 1.2. 1.5 would be too drastic. And then let's just go ahead and add this. So if you're not following what I'm doing, is I'm actually about to create the zooming effect. So I'm saying that for the animation, it's going to come in at scale 1. So it's going to be the actual size of the picture. All right. And then we're going to just scale it to 1.2 of its size and at 100%. So depending on the seconds that I use to make this animation happen. So let's just copy this. And let's just actually not copy that. Sorry. Let's say zooming. Let's go ahead and bring that in. And we can do the same thing as here just to keep it simple. All right. So now we have the zooming and we're saying that it's also going to last for, well, right now it's lasting for 1 second. So let's actually make that last for, what did I say? 20 seconds, I guess. So right now it's going to do some weird stuff probably. Well, it's not doing anything actually. I didn't expect that. So one, we have zooming, and then animation moving in, and then we say zooming at 0% it's transform scale 1, and then at 100% it's transform scale 1.2, which that should work. And then we're here. So what is the problem? Because why isn't that working? So it's coming in. Why isn't that not working? That should work. Wait, was it just zooming? It is. Wow. It's zooming so slow that I didn't even realize it. All right. That's actually the effect that I wanted, because I wanted it to be so slow that you don't even actually notice it at first. But then you just keep looking at it like, is that moving? Is that moving? Is that not moving? So it did exactly what I wanted to do, and I didn't even realize it. Wow. All right. But one thing that we need to fix is now it's not coming in anymore. Like it's not pulling down. So how do we break that? So the reason that stopped working is because this animation is overriding this animation. Okay. So the zoom in is overriding the moving in because it's starting at the same time. So the way to do that is just add a delay. So we're just going to say delay it for 1 second, which, so this is the time that it takes. And then this behind it will mean delay 1 second. So now if I do that, I should still get the effect of coming in and then still get the zoom. All right. So actually, let's just make this zoom a little bit bigger because I can barely see it. And then, you know, you may even miss it. Let's just make it a little bit more noticeable that is happening. All right. It's a little bit more noticeable. So it's coming in. It's really slow though. I don't know if I want it that slow, but I still like it because it's like if you're not really noticing it, then you might not even see it. But at the same time, if you are paying attention, you'll catch it. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it. I kind of like it. All right. So we have the zooming, and we also need to do something. So like when my arm is getting cut off. So when the animation is like going out, we need something for that. So we need to have it not zooming out, but we need to have some kind of inactive animation. So when it's leaving. All right. So to do that, we can do something maybe like moving out. And then, we already have the ZIndex set. So we just need something to happen when it's moving out. All right. So let's just do something for moving out. All right, so what do I want this to do? All right, so when it's moving out, how do I want this to work? Because when it's coming in and then it moves out, it needs to kind of like, so if something's coming in down here, the movement out needs to go down. So it's like it's coming in and then the movement out needs to go down. So it's like, you know, it's not like, almost like it's pushing it down. So to do that, what I can do is probably just say at 100%, just translate it to 100 view height, maybe. I think that should work. Because it's coming down, right? Let's see. And that didn't do it. Why is it not moving? All right, I might want to add the animation. That would definitely help out. Yeah, that would definitely help out a lot. Okay, so moving out. Let's just change that. And then I need to import it. All right. So now that we have it. All right, I was like, what happened? All right, so now we're like really getting somewhere. Okay, so this is cool because just from that little bit of CSS animation, we have this moving out. All right. Although everything is going in the same direction, but we'll fix that later. But the good thing is it's moving. Like as you click on whatever one, it's coming down. It's coming down. Like I'm so excited about this. Like you don't even understand. On that note, cheers. Okay. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry guys. I can't help it. So then it's moving out. All right. So now we want to do the whole zooming effect. So to do that, let's, not the zooming effect. Not the zooming effect, but like the scale, like when you click, I want it to like zoom, like pop out at you, like pow. And then, and then it kind of goes back. So to do that, let's just go ahead and add something here. Let's just say 65%. And then let's just say scale. Let's just say, let's transform. Transform. And then let's say scale, let's say 1.7, maybe. I don't know what it's going to look like. And then when it gets back here, because since we're changing the scale, the scale just basically just makes almost like it zooms in on the picture, just makes it bigger. So let's just say transform, just set it back to scale 1. So we can get it back to where it was. And I need to put that there. All right. So let's see what happens here. So that's pretty cool. So you see, it's doing that whole effect where it's like, it's almost like you're clicking on it and it looks like pretty like cool. Like it's just coming at you. And then it kind of like zooms back in place. Like, bam. Like this animation alone, like, although it's so simple to do, like, I just think it's so cool. Like, I don't know. I just really, really like it a lot. I don't know. I like it. Like, I think it's cool. I don't know what else to say, but besides that, but yeah, like, look at it. Like, just that little bit of CSS that we just did is getting all that to happen. Like, that is so cool. This is just CSS. Like, this is, all right. Okay. I have to move on because I would literally click on this for an hour and be like, that is so cool. And then it'd be an hour later, you'd be like, you haven't even passed this part of the video. Sorry, guys. I can't help myself. I gotta stop. All right. So yeah, so now that we have that done, what else do we need to do for this part? So let's see something. So that's coming in, that's coming in, that's coming in. Yeah, so that part seems to be working fine. So now I think we need to go ahead and start adding like some content here. So let's go ahead and get ready to start working on that part. And, you know, we can keep moving on and keep building on this. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So basically, what we want to do is add some content here. So this would be like, you know, the stuff that's in your page. So you want the width to be the full width, and then the height maybe like 90%. Let's just do it. Let's just do it, because I can never do a short video. I don't know why, but it's some good information. I feel like I don't want to, like, you know, half step do stuff and then like you'd be like, well, you didn't really explain that. So I try to explain everything, and I hope you guys don't mind. But I know I just have to do it. So sorry. It is what it is. So yeah, so we have the am I on mute? Oh, I think it's fine. That was my mic I was touching. Sorry, I don't even know why I said that, because you could see it, but I didn't know you could see it. Whatever. Here I go again, getting sidetracked. So let's go with the width, and let's just say 100 view width, all right? Then the height, let's just say 100 view height. And then let's just say display flex. So justify content. Let's put center, align items, center. Let's just give it a position of absolute so it doesn't move stuff around on the screen. And let's also give it a background color of red just so we can kind of see what's going on here. And while we're at it, let's give it a ZIndex of maybe 10 just to make sure that it's on top. And then let's just go ahead and add that. And then, all right. And let's just go ahead and add this here. And then let's import it. Okay, I think I got all that right. Bam, that's exactly what I wanted. All right. Okay, so I feel like, why did he want that? I could just spit out my mouth. Good thing I'm by myself, because I would have did that now. People would probably be really upset with me. Like, why are you spitting out your mouth? You know, there's so much going on in the world. I got it. So if you feel like I spit at you guys, I'm sorry. I didn't. I got excited. So yeah, as you can see, nothing is happening, which is what I expected. But this red box is here. You're like, oh, okay, it's a red box. Oh, what's the point? All right, so that red box is there, which is what I wanted. So now I'm going to go ahead and build something inside of that container and call it content. So let's just say content equals style.div. And let's just give it a width of 100% because we want to go across the entire width. And then let's say height, it's going to give it 90%. All right, 90%. And then we're going to say display flex again. We're going to actually copy all this. So I have to write it again. And then just go ahead and do that. So we have display flex, justify content is going to be center, align items is going to be center. Let's give it a background color. If I can spell color right. Let's say 0, 0, 0. Let's just say 0.2 for now. And then let's go ahead and export that. And then let's go ahead and just import that. Come on. And then let's go ahead and that's what I was trying to do. Import that. All right. All right. So we have that. As you can see, it's showing here. On my screen. All right. So let's get rid of this red because we don't need that anymore. That was just so we could see what was going on. Red is gone. Okay. So now we have the background and we have this container over it. I might want to move this down a little bit. So let's just go ahead and just say margin top. Let's just say 2%. Okay. Let's bring it down a little bit. I like that a little bit better. So now we actually need to add some content. So let's just go ahead and just do something like this. And then let's say content. All right. And is it there? Yeah, it's there barely, but it's there. So let's go ahead and make this more obvious. So just say color white and then font weight. Let's give it a bold. And let's also give it a font size of like 3em. Okay. Still recording. Okay, cool. All right. So now as you can see, what's happening is like everything is there. Like everything is just sitting there. So what we want to do is, you see like all of this stuff is showing. We don't want to, we want React to actually not show these components or only show these components if, you know, it needs to. So the way to get around, I'm hearing like a buzz. What is that? I don't know. Maybe it's my earphones. But a way to get around that is, let's go in and, well, first, let's go ahead and hide these elements. So hide these components like this here. We want to hide it, hide this when it's no longer needed. So basically, the best way I figured out to do that was to add in an event listener. So we could, so when I first started looking at this, I was like, okay, well, I can do like display block and do display none, and I can just hide stuff like that. And then I was like, well, no, that might not work well because I'm using React, and then React kind of needs to kind of manage everything and know when stuff is there and when stuff is not. So I was like, maybe display none, display block is not the best way to do this. So I was like, okay, well, I want React to pretty much not have like a, have something to pretty much tell it to show the element or not. All right. So the best way to do that is to add an event listener. So let's add one. So let's just use use effect. If you haven't used use effect before, it's basically just going to allow you to have like some code run when you want it to run for certain dependencies. But in my case, I just want it to run once. And I'm going to show you what I got to do to make it run once. So let me just import use effect. So if I do a empty array, it runs once, although React is going to complain about it, and I'll show you eventually how to get around that. But for now, I'm just going to use the empty array just to use effect, which I feel like React shouldn't complain, but hey, I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So since I use effect, what I want to happen is I want every time I like when that, okay, so say for instance, I hit about. So when contact is moving out and that animation is done, I want contact to, I want this to disappear. I don't want this to show anymore. Right. So how can I get that done? That is where the event listener comes in. So what I can do is say, so I want to go through like each page because, don't remember if I said this part or not. So there's this ref, which is this element. And then this is part of all of the objects in the array. So pretty much everything that I have here. just to go back and look at it. So I have the name, background, active, element. So the element is going to be able to have access to that DOM element for each object in the array. So what I want to do is say, since that's still part of my array, I can say pages, because I have access to that. No, I don't. Let's put it up here. I can say pages.forEach. And then I can say page.element, not active. Oh, I love TypeScript. I think it's current, or current target. I think it's current though. So add event listener. And this, am I spelling this right? I think that's right. My spelling sometimes is bad. So the name of this event is WebKit animation end. So this is basically saying whenever your animation ends, then call this function. All right. So what I want to do is call this function, and what this function is going to do is basically just hide the element. But I only want to hide it if the page is not active. So if not page.active, then hide element page. All right. So right now we don't have a hide element. So what we need to do is create it. So this is back in the store. I'm putting action because this is going to end up changing some of the observables. So I want to be action so I can know that this is actually changing stuff. So I can just say hide element. And we can just say page. I'm going to just give it a type of page. We're just going to say page.show element equals false. If I can spell this right. All right. So now we have hide element. We can go ahead and bring that in here. All right. So pretty much we're saying when an animation is done, we're going to hide the element. So let's see if we broke anything, because that's definitely possible. Let's see. Did it hiding? Oh, well, yeah, I might want to actually do this. So it's setting show element to false, but I'm not actually doing anything with it. So what I want to say, if show element is true, meaning that we want to show the element, then show the element, or show the container. Probably should that show container or show component. I don't know. Maybe show element is not a good name, but I'm going to leave it because I don't want to waste any more time. And then, so if that's true, we show it. If not, we don't show it. So what we can do here is go ahead and add that in here, so we have access to it. And it should update in a second. I don't know why it's taking so long. Show, there we go. All right, so if I click here, so as you can see, well, you don't see anything actually, because now none of them are showing. But the initial one, home, is showing, right? So when I click about, home is done right now, and then home disappears. So the only thing we're doing is we're hiding the element, but we're setting show element to false, but we're not setting show element to true, which we need to do that. So we need to set show element to true anytime somebody clicks on the link. So we need to let it be true. So to handle that, let's go back to our page manager store. So this set page active. So let's go back to the navigation. Let's backtrack here. So this navigation, whenever you click on it, has an on-click handler, and that's called handle on-click. The handle on-click has been passed down as props. So if you try to see where handle on-click comes from, it's actually from here. And this navigation, handle on-click, is actually set page active. And then set page active actually comes from the page manager store. And then in the page manager store, this is set page active. This is what's actually setting the page to active. But what we need to do is actually also do something else. So we're setting the page to active, but we also need to show the element. So we only want to show the element if page.name equals to the name that's been passed in. And then we're going to say page.show element equals true. And the reason why I didn't do it the same way as of this, like page name equal name, then set it to true, and if not, set it to false, is because I don't just want to automatically set it to false if it's not the one that was clicked, because then the animation is going to be screwed up. That's why I added the events listener to go ahead and manage that, setting it to false, so then the show element will be false when the animation is done. All right. Does that confuse you? I hope not, but I'm going to show you how it works. So I feel like that should work. All right. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. As you can see, like it's getting somewhere. So we click on contact and then contact shows. Click on about shows. But as you can see, it ended up disappearing. Like if I click on about, a contact is going to disappear in a second. So what I can do is just say something like this. So that's how I want to do this. So I can do this a couple of ways. So the show element is going to be set later. So actually let's just go in styles and let's use this same kind of logic. So now we're going to pass in we're going to have a class name as active or inactive for the content wrapper. So basically this thing right here. All right. So since we have that, we're going to say, let's go ahead and copy something here. Let's say if it's inactive, we're just going to say opacity is 0. Okay. So basically when you click it, it disappears. So it's no longer there because opacity is 0 because it's inactive. So all of the ones that are not active are now opacity 0. So you might want to even take this further and like have something where you can make sure that like whatever content you have here is not clickable. Like if you have like buttons or something, like make sure you can't click it. I think there's like something in CSS where it's like cursor events or cursor pointer events, or basically make sure that everything is like you can't do anything with it. But I don't want to go too deep because it's kind of like I can like keep adding on stuff forever and this video will last forever. So I just want to point that out. So right now they're disappearing. But what I don't like is the way this contact or anything is coming. It just like pops up. I want it to be like an animation. So let's give it an animation. All right. So let's just say, we can call it like page moving in. Let's just say, content moving in equals keyframes. And let's say, how do we want to do this? So if we're having content moving in, kind of want it to fade in with that effect. So how can I do that? How do I want to do that? How do I want to do that? Let's see. So when it's coming in, I don't want it to show. I don't like, okay, so if I click here, I don't want about to show until like around the time this zoom in effect is happening, like pop in then. So let's see, can we do that? So content moving. So we have the keyframes and what do we want to do here? So at 0%, we want the opacity to be 0. All right. So 0% opacity is going to be 0. Okay. And let's do 65% because that seems to be where that other animation is happening on line up here. You want that kind of like, see that? I kind of want something to happen at that same point so it kind of matches. So maybe at 65% we can set let's see, how do you want to do this? Maybe I don't know. But I can still leave it at opacity. So opacity is going to be 0 all the way up to 65%. And then at 100%, we want opacity to be 1. I don't even know if I needed a 0 because I just set both of them to 0, but let's just see what's going on here. Content moving in. Okay, so if it's active, we're going to get rid of that, and then we're going to just say content moving in, and then import it. Come on. Alright, so let's see what happens. So, okay, so it's alright. It's not bad, but it could be better. So I kind of want this zoom effect. See how the picture is zooming in? I kind of want that to be the same as the content. So let's do something, let's kind of mimic what's going on here. So maybe add the transform of, I'm not, how am I doing? Maybe add the transform here. And then here, we're just going to put it back at 1. And then I need to actually replace that with that. Let's see what. Okay, so see what it's doing? Like, it feels like almost like the text is following the picture. Like, bam, like, get it? Like, it's coming and bam. Like, it just like, kind of like, just jumps at you. But I think I want it to be a little bit more out there. So let's just say 2.2. Let's make it really big and then just snatch it in your face. Alright. So that's a little bit better to me, right? This is all like personal preference or what you like. But I just like the way that's coming in, and then it just goes in, and then it looks a little off though. Wait a minute. I don't like that no more. So just that. I think I want it to be a little bit better. Let's just do like 85, and then let's just say opacity 0.4. Let's see what happens here. I don't know. I feel like I like that a little bit better. Let's just make this 0.3. All right. Okay. All right. I like that. I liked it. I like it. All right. Okay. So yeah. So we have that, and we have the we have the event listener working, and then that's coming out, and that's that's doing that. So we're getting pretty close to the end. There's a couple of more things we need to fix some, but we're getting there. So yeah, let's do it. Because I'm clearly running out of drink. 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this. So we're probably maybe 10 to 15 more minutes more, and we'll be done. I promise. Hopefully. I think so. All right, so what we need to do is, like I said, we need to get this. Well, I didn't say actually, but I was thinking it in my head. We need to start having it where the transition can, like how this is going this way, we need to have it go the opposite way. So right now that's not happening. So we need to go ahead and start building that part. So first what we need to do is, there's these transition directions. And if you probably don't remember this, or if you looked at the code, if you were following me, this is the transition directions. It returns, a result which has, forwards or backwards. And this is basically it basically just ends up handling like how the direction goes. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but basically it just decides which way to do the transition. All right. Just something I came up with. I probably could do it better than what it is, but, yeah, I just want to go ahead and do this. And cause this has already been like a long video. So let's try to speed this up. So where was I at? Yeah, so we have this transition directions. So since I already know it's returning forwards and backwards, Let's go ahead. I'm sorry. Let's just go ahead and destructure that. Forwards and then backwards. I think I spelled it wrong. All right. And it's saying we're not using it, which we're not. And let's just call this. How do I want to call this? Let me see. So we need to make sure we know which way it's going, right? So let's see. I can probably call this like one for in and then one for out. So we can call the transitions going in, transition going out. Just do that. Transition in direction. And for now, we're just going to set it to forwards. And then transition out, we're going to set it to backwards. All right, just to keep this kind of simple. All right, so now if we go to the page wrapper, let's actually go ahead and use that. So in here, we're going to actually end up having a function that takes in the transition in or the transition out, the direction that we just talked about. So it's going to be a function, although right now it's currently not a function. But I guess I need to, let me just write the code first. And then we're going to say moving in is now going to be a function. Oops. Moving in is going to be a function. And I can say props.transition in direction. I think that's what I called it. It's going to complain because it's saying that, hey, no, that's not a function. What are you talking about? Oh, I know that. I'm going to create it. I'm going to make it a function in a second. Props.transition out direction. Transition out direction. All right. So it's complaining about both of those, which is fine. I actually did expect that. So let's go ahead and fix that because I'm pretty sure I just broke everything. So now let's see. Yeah, I did break it. I knew I did. Let's see. So now we need to go in here. We need to make this a function. So it's no longer going to be like this. We're going to create a function. So we can say maybe it equals like transition. Well, this is out. So this would be transition out. Maybe direction. I don't know. And this type is going to be E transition type values. If you want to see what those are, why can't I go there? Types. Those are these things. Basically, it just, pretty much determines the direction. So E transition type values. Do I not import that? All right, let's import it. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and have it return the keyframes, but in here we're going to actually now use the transition out. I think I did that right. So that's for the moving out. So you want to be able to use that to end up coming out. So now we need to do one for in. So let's just do this a little bit quicker because this video is so long. Transition in direction, and then here we're going to say transition in direction. All right. So now we have the moving in and the moving out done, and then we have the styles, which we're passing in whatever it gets from the props. And then the index, we're just passing down the forwards and the backwards. So right now, nothing should have changed. It should just hopefully work the same way it did. Only thing is now it's going the opposite direction because of what I put there. So what we want to do is have it where it can go back and forth. So like it can go up and then it can go down. So like here, wait, hold up. I don't like the way this is working. So home. All right, so let's go ahead and fix that. So what we want to do is we need to set this should reverse. So I have in the page manager store, I have a should reverse animation, which is here. Right. So right now it's set to false, but I need to actually end up setting that to more like I need to set it to true at certain times so I can know when I need to change the direction. So how would I do that? I need to be able to do that. So let's see. I need to create probably another let's see, maybe set should reverse animation. Maybe. I don't know. We already have the index. So let's just say click page index. And that's going to be a number, right? And then okay, so I don't want to do this. So we're going to set this whole should be reversed only if this index is less than or greater, or if we're this way, then it's fine. But once we get, if the one that we're clicking is greater than the one that we were on, then we need to reverse it. I think that makes sense. So let's just say this dot should reverse animation equals. So if the click page index is less than or equal to this dot current page index, then true, maybe, right? Else false, right? Let's complain about objects possibly undefined, blah blah blah, whatever. Just put 0. Okay, so that fixed that issue, and then we want to set the current index to the one that was clicked. So equals click. So we need to change some things here. Let's just complain about. Oh yeah, that shouldn't be there. So here we're getting a name, we're getting the page index, like, so we're getting a page index. So let's just maybe call this clicked. Let's just keep the names the same. So we have click page index, right? And then we have our page. Let's put that there. And this will be the click page index. Okay, so now we have click page index, and then we still need to set should reverse animation. So we don't want to set it here. So, oh yeah, so if the page is not active, so if it's not already active, what they clicked on, then that's when you want to set it. Got it. I think this makes sense. Should reverse animation, and then we're going to pass in the click page index. All right. Not wait, set should reverse animation. Go in there. That makes sense, right? Okay, so let's see if that makes sense. So over here goes up. Perfect. So you see that, right? So it's changing direction. So here, the only thing I don't like is I feel like it should be the opposite. So let's just put that at false. And let's put that at true. I like it the opposite direction. So when we're going, what the hell did I just do? Oh, wrong one. I really messed it up. Wasn't paying attention. All right. So you see, so when you go to one, it goes down, and then you go to this one, it goes up. But there is something off. Not sure if you can catch it, but you see when I click here, and I click the contact, that picture changed. That shouldn't happen. And the reason is because of the whole ZIndex. So the ZIndexes are like not really working correctly here. So well, they're working, but we missed a step. So where's that thing at? Where am I setting ZIndex? Not in navigation, I'm in the wrong file. So in here, I think we should pass in the maybe the show, right? Because this is definitely wrong. I don't know. It's not right. What am I doing here? This is just not right. And I'm trying to figure out why. Like, what can I do to fix it? I know it's something with the ZIndex, and I'm really not understanding why this is like tripping me out right here. Probably because I've been at this for like almost an hour, and it's like now I'm getting to the point my brain is on overload. But let's see. So that shouldn't happen. So yes, definitely something with the ZIndex. So when it's inactive, instead of setting everything to 0, that's probably the problem. So instead of setting everything that's inactive to 0, then maybe I need to set it to like 0 or 1 depending on if the element is showing. I think that will work. So it'll still be less than 2, but I do need to do something with here. So I probably need to pass in the show element here. All right, so now we're passing in show element. So now I have access to that. So here I can say something like props any. I'm getting really tired now. So props dot if show element is true, that means that it should be a higher ZIndex, because show element means that it hasn't left out of either it hasn't been removed yet. So we still want that background to show. So let's put it at 1, else put it at 0. I hope I did that right. Okay, I think that fixed it. Contact. That did fix it. So you see now the pictures are the right pictures no matter which way you're going, like it's staying. And everything seems to be working. So now I'm going to just do a little nitpicking just to make things a little bit better. But as far as this, like everything seems to be working perfectly, really. But it's just certain things I just want to change. Not change, but just make a little bit better. So one thing I want to maybe put this to like 5, darken it up a little bit. All right, that looks a little bit better. So that's there. And then I added like a little box shadow here because I just feel like box shadow will like help this out a little bit. So this is the content area, so I want to add box shadow on the content. All right, so let's just say box shadow, and then we want to say 1px. What color I want this? RGBA 000 point maybe 8. I don't know. Just give it like a little box shadow. Anything happen? Okay, there's something there. So what I want to do is I want to give it that whole material UI kind of look, which is not going to be perfect because, again, my CSS is definitely not the best. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5. You're probably like, what is this guy doing? Just gonna give it a little effect here. All right. So see, I gave it a little effect. It looks like it's maybe coming out a little bit more. I think I like that effect a little bit more. I like the transparency a little bit more, and then everything else seems to be working fine. And yeah, so it's one thing I forgot to mention. So I'm gonna insert this into the video at some point in time. But this is like, I think it's really cool, so I feel like I need to mention it. So right now you see it says vertical. This is the store. So if I change this to horizontal and I go in here, right? And then now my whole animation changes directions. So you can do vertical or horizontal. So I just wanted to insert that in there. And also, you know, if you really think about this, you can even have this like on your page and have the user control it, like whether horizontal or vertical. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I just want to throw that in there, put that in there that you do have animation that's going 2 different ways. And yeah, now that I put that in there, I'm going to go ahead and cut this back out and then insert it in some kind of way. And then that's going to be that. All right. And let's just see if we're having any errors here, because I wanted to go back and just touch on this, what I mentioned earlier about this whole React gonna complain. So it's saying, this is going to be the end of this video once I fix this. React hook user effect has missing dependencies, hide element and pages, either include them or remove them from the dependency array, blah, 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 blah. All right. So that's this thing that React does, right? So when you're using hooks with React, okay, and I have an empty array, although I know for a fact that I do not want to show, like, I don't want this to run again. I only want this to happen once. But it's basically telling me like, okay, well, you say you only want it to happen once, but you're using pages and you're using hide element, and this stuff could actually eventually end up changing. So let me just do something so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So let's just say console dot, let's say console.log here, running effect. All right. So when I go in here, you see running effect only happens once, which is what I want. I only want that to happen once, but React is complaining about it. So let's just make React happy so they can stop complaining. All right. So if I go do what they told me to do and I add in the hide element and the pages, now we're going to have a problem. Now we're going in here and I don't want this to keep happening. So it just keeps happening. I don't want that. I don't want to keep having to redo this stuff. So the way around that is to do something else, which I don't know if this is like better or worse, but this is just something that I came up with, and let's just call it has animated event listener. Is animated event listener created? Is animated event listener created? And then set is animated event listener. LSTN. Spell. Created. Oh man, I can't spell. Use state and just say false. I feel like this is really sloppy to do. I don't really like the way that I don't really like the whole thing about React's pretty much telling me that, like giving me that warning, but I also hate seeing errors or warnings in my code. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make it not give me the warning, but I feel like it should just work with the empty array because that's the whole thing. It's an empty array, so I don't want to end up having this, only want this to happen once, but it's saying because I'm using these variables and I shouldn't be using them. But I know what I'm doing, but okay, I'll make you happy, React. All right. So since we're doing that, we're going to say if not is animated event listener created, and then we'll go ahead and do this. And when we go into effect, once we create it, we can just say set is animated event listener created to true. So now if we was to put that same thing inside of here, because now we have the if statement, and it might complain again. Yeah, it's animated, just complaining. I know this seems sloppy, but this is just a way to make React happy. So as you can see, the effect is only running once, right? So now I can actually take this console log out, and React is happy, and everything else works the way that it was working. Okay, so that is it. That is the end of this video. I think this is really, really cool, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. That was my dog. I don't know if she's coughing. I don't know what she's doing. But yeah, this video did take a long time, but I wanted to really touch on like how I got to this point and what motivated me, and I want to really explain the code and also have you guys code with me, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video for now. But don't forget what my mama said, because she said I told you what she said. She said make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell to get those notifications. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna tell her you didn't, and she's gonna be upset. So, I mean, that's it. And hopefully you like this code. And yeah, that's the end of it. Until next time, peace out. I forgot to stop the video. Peace out.